This is Eddie Hearn, Matchroom Boxing. You are watching Sporting Icons. You don't need to be anywhere else.
Alright everybody, so rather than do what happened yesterday where things were happening which felt like on the hour every hour, I thought I'd try and cram as much into one video as possible, okay? So on this one, I'm going to start off with the thing that's just resurfaced yesterday, which is that the doctor who is part of Conor Benn's training camp, Dr. Usman, well, he is a testosterone replacement therapist. Now, he's got other clients as well, this doctor, such as Tyson Fury, such as Joseph Parker, and quite a few others, not just boxers, but sports people in general. Now, firstly, I do have to ask, why would you need to employ a testosterone replacement therapist? Why would you need one? For any athlete, why would you need one? Unless, of course, you are increasing your testosterone in an unnatural way. So any person on that list, you need to be looked at. Sorry, but you do. And I think everybody should be tested. And hopefully everybody comes back clean. And hopefully this doctor is just being a fool guy. Hopefully that's what it is. Okay. Again, I am hearing that potentially that this doctor came on board with Conor Benn's team after the test. The test, apparently, that Conor Benn failed was back in early August. That's how long ago it was. And only now it just surfaces. Only now. And this doctor, apparently he's deleted all his social media, his website, all that kind of stuff. That's a sign of guilt. Hopefully it's not, but it's looking like a sign of guilt, right? It really is. Now, I see some journalists out there on TalkSport and quite a few other people who are acting all outraged about the fact that this fight could still go ahead. But I bet you anything, these same journalists who are saying that this fight should be pulled, this fight should be cancelled and all that kind of good stuff will be there on fight night if the fight takes place. Some two-faced people out there, people act outraged, but they're not really. And they'll hide behind, well, it's my job. No, it's not your job to go there on fight night. You can go there before fight night at the press conference today, which apparently the press conference was originally scheduled for 1 o'clock, is now going to be 4 o'clock. That tells us something is going on. This could be a sign of they're postponing it. They're trying to keep the fight on, but it could end up getting pulled. So that's something to look out for, but we'll have to wait and see. So the journalist, yes, of course, go to the press conference, go to the weigh-in, but fight night, why do you need to be at the fight night? Because this is all about what happens on fight night. You don't need to be there. But they will. You know they will. There's a lot of two-faced people around. There really is. So if anybody out there, if you're seeing journalists who are clearly outraged by this whole situation and saying how this fight shouldn't go ahead and whatever else, pull them up. Are you going to go to the fight night? Now, I see Eddie Hearn is trying to get this fight to continue. And I have to ask why, because firstly, he's saying, well, he's passed all UCAD, which is British Boxer Board of Control governed, right? Okay, that's fair. That's a fair point from that perspective. But they employed VADA. Now, if you're employing VADA, it must mean that it's extra testing. And if you're going to employ them and something happens, then why are you just disregarding it? When Eddie Hearn in the past has condemned people, they should be going to prison, all this kind of stuff. This is attempted murder. We all seen his reaction over Big Baby Jarrah Miller. Okay, that's an extreme case, okay? He's done multiple times with multiple substances found in his system. Eddie Hearn pulled, was it Tyrone Spong? When Tyrone Spong had an adverse finding in his sample when he was meant to be taken on with Alexander Usyk, if I remember rightly. And quite a few other things. Eddie Hearn has a lot to say, but when it comes to, say, Conor Benn, well, let's defend it. Let's not pull the fight. Let's keep it going. Even though you've known since apparently in August time. Apparently August. So if you've known all this time and you've waited until a few days before the fight, what does that mean? Has somebody somewhere spoken to VADA and said, okay, can you just hold back that information? I know you've got to put it out in the public air, but just hold it back for a bit. Is somebody somewhere paying them money? I'm not accusing, I'm asking the question. Is somebody somewhere paying them money to hold back that information? And then on fight week, they release it. Okay, well, now we're going to sort out the B sample, but it ain't going to get done till after the fight. Now, I'm not saying Conor Benn is guilty. Maybe I see quite a few comments because I say that I'm no expert on PEDs. I'm not. It's not something I've ever sat down, looked at, read. To be honest, I can't be bothered with it. I've got more important, better things to do than go through manuscripts of what certain PEDs are there, what substances are on what ban list. I couldn't care less. I don't know anything about it. And people are saying to me, well, you should know. Read up on about it. Well, how about you read up on about it and tell me about it? That's so much better, isn't it? Because the gyms that I go to, I don't see people taking PEDs. I've never seen it in my life. Ever. Maybe you do. Where something might be obvious to you as to what it is that Conor Benn's taken and what it does to his body. That's on you. Listen, that don't mean that I know about it. Now, is it right that the fight goes ahead? I said it really depends on where you sit. If this was another show with another fighter, Eddie Hearn, you know fine well will be going, no, pull the plug. It's disgusting. It shouldn't be happening. I'll see Frank Warren. Frank Warren, he's saying that the fight shouldn't go ahead. If this was on his show, would he pull the fight? Would he? Again, he's acting all like he's totally against PEDs. And I'm sure he is, really. But when Tyson Fury came back after his ban for PEDs, for Nandrolone, who was the promoter who signed him up? Right. Who's the promoter who was apparently offered Manuel Charr a 3-fight deal? Manuel Charr has that. Who's the promoter who was apparently trying to make Dan Dubois take on Lucas Brown? Again, Lucas Brown has that on his record too. So let's not be two-faced about things. I think if you're a promoter, if you're a manager, a boxer, a trainer, however you are involved in boxing, stick to the script. Don't go amending it just because it's a different situation with you that involves you. And that's exactly what it is that Eddie Hearn's doing. He's being very, very two-faced about it. Why? For me, I think that he's just so hell-bent on making money. He's so hell-bent on trying to please Nigel Benn. Is he afraid of him? I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. This fight, in theory, shouldn't be taking place anyway. There's no need for it. They're two different weight divisions. There's no belt on the line. It's not mandated. So really, there's no need for this fight. There's no need for it whatsoever. Now, me as a boxing fan, would I like to see it? Of course I'd like to see it. I've been looking forward to this fight. I have. I don't agree it should be on pay-per-view, but I've been looking forward to this fight. I have. I'm curious as to see what's going to happen in this fight. A lot of you want to see it too. Again, a lot of you who are saying that Conor Benn is a drugs cheat and whatever else. Well, firstly, we don't know that for a fact. We're waiting for the B sample. As I said, some of you will be far more in tune as to what this substance is and what are the ways of taking it. Can it be taken accidentally? Can it not? That's for many of you, okay? I don't know the answers to any of this. I see contradicting things quite a lot, so I don't know. But ultimately, you have to ask the question of why would Conor Benn bring in a therapist whose expertise is testosterone replacement, which happens to be the thing that he's popped for? And why has that doctor closed down his pages? We'll have to wait and see. But again, the sign of the press conference has now been changed from 1 o'clock to 4 o'clock tells me something is going on. We'll have to wait and find out what that is, I suppose. Drop your thoughts below, click thumbs up, subscribe. Catch you in the next video.